In today's video, we'll be going over the starter Pokemon and Pikachu cocktails. The Charmander. For this drink, you'll be needing some tequila, triple sec, mineral water, grenadine, and some grapefruit juice. For the garnish, you'll be needing an orange. In shaking this drink, you'll be starting with your tequila, adding about 1.5 ounces of it to your drink. Then you'll be adding 1/2 ounce of your triple sec. Feel free to replace this with any orange liqueur that you might prefer. Then you'll be adding 3 ounces of your grapefruit juice. Feel free to replace it with orange juice if you prefer. Make sure to shake your drink well. After shaking, you will be topping your drink with some mineral water. Please be careful and not shake with mineral water as it is carbonated. You will then pour out your drink into your cup, and then you will be adding some grenadine. This was inspired by a tequila sunrise, so it is important to add your grenadine at the end. It will then sink to the bottom, giving it a sun-rising look, which is why it was inspired by tequila sunrise. Grabbing your orange, you will now then peel out a long strip of peel to add to your drink for garnish. Add your peel into your drink in a swirly motion. And this is the Charmander. The Bulbasaur. For this drink, you'll be needing some gin, melon liqueur, simple syrup, and aloe vera juice. You will also be needing 1 lemon, and for garnish, you'll be adding your mint leaves. In shaking this drink, you'll be starting with your gin. You'll need about 2 ounces of your favorite gin. And after that, you'll be needing 1/2 ounce of your simple syrup. Another 1/2 ounce of your melon liqueur. Then you'll be adding 3 ounces of your aloe vera juice. Make sure to squeeze both half of your lemons into your drink. This will give you about 1 ounce and 1.5 ounces of lemon juice. If this drink comes out too sour, just simply add more simple syrup. Make sure to shake your drink well. After pouring your drink out, you will then garnish it with your mint leaves. After selecting your mint leaves, I prefer to smack them so that you could release the mint oils and fragrance. This will also add a smell when drinking this drink. This is the Bulbasaur. The Squirtle. You will need some coconut rum, regular rum, blue curacao, cream of coconut, and some pineapple juice. You'll be starting with your coconut rum. You'll add about 2 ounces of your coconut rum. Then 2 ounces of your regular rum. Make sure not to use spiced rum, as this will mess with the flavors and the coloring of the drink. Then you'll be adding 2 ounces of your pineapple juice, followed by another 2 ounces of your blue curacao. Lastly, you'll be adding 1 ounce of your cream of coconut. I would recommend you putting your coconut cream earlier, as the other Liquid will allow the coconut cream to loosen if there's any left in your jigger. Make sure to shake this drink well. This is an ungarnished drink, but if you would like to garnish this drink, I would recommend adding some pineapple wedges. This is the Squirtle. The Pikachu. You will need some vodka, passion fruit puree, simple syrup, maraschino cherries, and some pineapple juice. You also need half of a lime. To start with this drink, you will start with your vodka. You'll be adding about 2.5 ounces of vodka into your shaker. This will be followed by 2 ounces of your passion fruit puree. Then half an ounce of your simple syrup. Then you'll be adding 2 ounces of pineapple juice. You'll be adding half an ounce of lime, which is equivalent to about half of a big lime. You'll then make sure to shake your drink well. To garnish your drink, you'll be taking 2 maraschino cherries, taking off the stems, and placing them in a toothpick. And this is the Pikachu. And so these are the starter Pokemon plus Pikachu cocktails. To start off with Charmander. Charmander is my least favorite out of the 4 cocktails, but it is simply a preference as I made it with tequila as it was inspired by Tequila Sunrise. If I were to change the tequila into like vodka, for example, it would probably move up in my favorite, but I had to keep the tequila in there. One, since it was inspired by Tequila Sunrise, and second, because tequila has that burning kind of sensation when you're drinking tequila, and since Charmander is a fire Pokemon, I thought it was fitting to keep it in. My second favorite was the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur was made with gin and aloe vera juice. Gin is one of my favorite spirits, and aloe vera is also a really good favorite of mine when it comes to juices, and the mint leaves really smell nice as you are drinking it, so I really like that pairing of gin, aloe vera juice, and those mints. In third place is Squirtle. Don't get me wrong, Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon when it comes to the starter Pokemons. And so the only reason why Squirtle came out in third is because I just prefer the taste of aloe vera and passion fruit over coconut. I do still like coconut, but it's just I prefer the other 2 flavors over coconut. Speaking of passion fruit, Pikachu was my favorite out of the 4, and it's because, like I said, passion fruit is one of my favorite flavors, and it just so happens that the pineapple juices in it pair really well together with the passion fruit. And so the passion fruit and pineapple juices together really tasted well in my opinion, which is why it is my favorite out of the 4. And so then these are the starter Pokemon plus Pikachu cocktails. So when it comes to the film came out in around 1998, and it was one of the most highest grossing animated film at the time. I'm not really sure how long it held that title, but I know it held that title. That film came out around 1998, and I never saw it in theaters, but I do remember very fondly some nostalgic memories because I had to borrow it from a cousin, one of my dear cousins who was a huge Pokemon fan, and I remember borrowing it from him. It was a VHS. That kind of dates me, in case you kind of remember VHS. And I remember borrowing it and bringing it home and watching it with my little brother. Now, luckily for me, that VHS came with a little short film in the beginning called Pikachu's Vacation. And in my opinion, Pikachu's Vacation was a little bit better just because I prefer some lighthearted adventures over a little bit more serious tone film. Don't get me wrong, the film was still good, at least given my nostalgia-ness for it. I just really preferred the nostalgia from the little fun adventure that these starter Pokemon, Charmander was a Charizard at that time, so they weren't really starter Pokemon, and Pikachu. They went up against this little rival gang at the vacation joint that they were at, and it was a fun little adventure without the humans, and it was just really fun. But when it comes to the actual film had a message about how humans are not inherently evil. The antagonist, I guess you can call him, Mewtwo, was set on basically freeing the Pokemon, though the way that he was doing it was through violence, and I'll get to that in a sec. But essentially, he had a twisted view on humanity that all humans are evil and that we must separate the Pokemon from the humans because they are enslaving us and they're doing, all this and that. I mean, he had really good motivations for doing all that as he was created in a lab, experimented, and then taken advantage. Speaking of that, so the film is a little harsh on first starters. I do know that this film came out in theaters, and so it was a little drawing for people who first watched this film and it was like their first thing about Pokemon, because they don't really explain anything about it. They don't explain like what are Pokemon, what do you do with them, so that was just my little 2 cents on that, as I do know that that film wasn't a good beginner for people who are just starting out when it came to the world of Pokemon. So this movie was definitely for people who have been watching the series for a while now and were anticipating this film. Okay, but going back to the message, Mewtwo had a reason for everything he was doing, and that's very understandable. Like, they experimented him on everything. And so at the end, due to Ash's, spoiler alert, sacrifice, he realized that all humans are not bad, and that there are some good people, and that you are defined by your actions and not by what you are. Mewtwo thought he was an abomination as he was a clone, and so he just felt evil because that's how he was created. And then by seeing that not all humans are evil or inherently evil, that some people are good, he changed his point of view on it. And then that was like the whole message of it, though. Like, it was a little funny that they ended up erasing the minds of all the humans in the film. So this message that they had just learned, like Ash and everyone who was in it, they just like forgot it because Mewtwo decided to erase their memory about everything that had happened in the whole film. So, I mean, this is not a perfect film. Is it a fun film? Yeah, it's a fun film. Does it have its moments? Yes, it definitely has its moments. But it's not the best film. It has a couple of plot holes here and there. And that's what I was alluding to earlier about violence. So there is this funny line in the film that just cracks me up watching it when I watch it now. So the line is, Pokemon aren't meant to fight. Not like this. And if you know anything about Pokemon, you know that you're supposed to be capturing Pokemon and having them battle, and you're trying to, beat the other people through violence. And I just find it very funny. Like, that character, I think it was a Nurse Joy that was changed due to Mewtwo using some psychic stuff on her. But I just really find it funny. Like, Pokemon are meant to fight. Pause. Not like this. They just had to add it in because I'm pretty sure that they had the message. But then they realized, like, hey, this is a Pokemon film, so you can't just say that fighting is bad because that's the whole point of Pokemon. I don't know. Think back at it, that's what really makes me laugh. But other than like these small little nitpicks here and there, I mean, you gotta remember this film was made with kids in mind, and so viewing it as an older adult, you're a bit more cynical when it comes to these little imperfections in these films. Is this a great film? No. I believe it has like a 16% on either Metacritic or Rotten Tomato. Does it deserve a 16? I would say no. I think this film deserves more around a 50, just because it depends on the type of person who's watching it. Are you a fan of Pokemon? Are you nostalgic for it? Things like that. Those are the kind of things that you have to think about when it comes to this film. And me, I didn't really see a lot of Pokemon growing up, but I am a fan of Pokemon. I watched it more when I was in college, as I had access to Wi-Fi and cable and all that when I went to college. So as a fan now, and looking back at it, is nostalgic, is really good content for someone who is immersed in this Pokemon world. And so with that being said, that is my take on this film. These are my cocktails for you to watch, for you to drink if you were to watch this film again. Okay, I appreciate you watching my video. This YouTube channel is just starting up, so I appreciate any like and subscribe that you're willing to give. And thank you for supporting. I really appreciate you watching the video, and please come again. Thank you.